This is Apostle Lance, your marriage fitness coach. Have you been asking yourself how you can improve the relationship with your husband? This is one of the ways. Learn to listen to him and avoid anything that will cause you to quarrel or to argue with him. As a wife, the biggest enemy you have in your marriage is your mouth. And your best friend is your ear. So if you want to win the heart of your husband as much as possible or above everything else, learn to listen to him and to respect him. Do whatever it takes to avoid arguing with him, to avoid accusing him, to avoid complaining to him. Don't ever raise your voice against him. If you do that, it will only reduce your value to him, and it will cause him to, as much as possible, want to avoid you. And this is the reason why so many men don't want to go back home early. Now, I'm not saying that men are perfect or that men have it all together. I'm trying to help you find ways through which you can connect with him, through which you can win his heart back to you. The Bible says in Proverbs chapter 21 and verses 19 that it is better to live in the desert, alone in the desert, than with a crabby complaining woman. Now, most of you have been told that if you want your husband to change, then complain to him, then nag him. But I can assure you, most men would prefer to be alone on their phones, to be alone with their friends, than to spend time with their wives. Why? You are always arguing and complaining to him. You are always disagreeing with everything that he suggests to you. That's why most men no longer want to plan with you. They no longer want to have conversations with you, because every time you have conversations, you're always coming up with something to argue with him. Now, this does not mean that you will always have to agree with everything he says. But instead of arguing with him, instead of disagreeing with him, instead of complaining to him, you can find ways of telling him your opinion respectfully. And if he still does not find a sense or see sense in what you're telling him, don't forget that the head of every man is Christ. So you can go to God and tell him, I have done my part and I have respected my husband, but I feel that this decision he is taking is not good for us as a family. Will you please, Father, speak to him? Through your submission, you will attract God to be involved in your issues as a wife. But if you're talking a lot, arguing a lot, complaining a lot, then you will always be the one to fight your battles in your marriage. So instead of complaining about his bad behavior, which I know he has, learn to appreciate him for the good things that he has done. And instead of arguing with him, learn to listen to him. If you do that, it will win you points in his heart, and he will want more to connect with you. Stay blessed.